Andy Roland, or better known to early desert residents as Andy the Donkey Man. Andy Roland grew up in Newark, New Jersey. In 1915, Andy hopped a freight and came west. He eventually came to Palm Desert in 1931. Andy was quoted as saying, "Hell, I've had some of the best neighbors a man could ever ask for. Movie stars, millionaires, even President Eisenhower lived just down the road a piece. My family lived in Palm Desert during those years, and getting to go ride on a donkey was a treat for us." Andy lived in a sheepherder's cart at the end of Avenue 44, on the west side of Highway 111. Andy's only source of income was by giving donkey rides to children for 50 cents each. During the hot summer months in the desert, Andy would take his wagon and donkeys and migrate up Highway 74 to Idlewild and set up his summer camp. In August of 1969, Andy was struck by a car near Anza and was taken to Desert Hospital in Palm Springs. He suffered multiple skull fractures and lacerations, a broken left arm and some abrasions. 3 of the 4 burros that were pulling the wagon that day were killed. In a 1973 interview, in the Los Angeles Times newspaper, Andy tells the story of getting a ticket for walking along the highway. Andy said, "I've been walking this highway for 42 years, against the traffic, like you're supposed to. They tried to soak me for $5. I wouldn't pay $5 for doing nothing." Andy fought the ticket in court and won the case. The judge told him to go ahead and walk where you have been. Andy gained national recognition in 1973, when he was featured on the CBS show, On the Road, with Charles Kuralt. Andy was killed New Year's Eve of 1973, while crossing Highway 111, at Avenue 44. In January of 1974, a memorial fund is set up by Tony Veen, manager for the El Dorado Polo Club in Indian Wells. Veen said, "I'm sure there are many people on the desert who knew Andy, and feel about him the way I do. I'm sure they would like to see him have a decent burial and a headstone for his grave." He said, "Andy was a part of Palm Desert, a familiar figure to us all.